was the teleport out from Impact.
Oh, Jensen.
Because now he can't threaten that flank, and now it gives the ability for the Shy, whose TP is going to come up soon. So this means that Invictus Gaming will have more control to set up for the Baron later. But of course, they've now lost control over mid lane, and TL should come out on top in terms of the tower trade.
Yeah, TL actually ends up winning that one because IG didn't pull for the fight. I feel like any time you do a Baron setup, if you just pull off through the top lane because you've lost mid priority, you're probably going to end up losing something. So really some back and forth stuff, because to me it felt like Impact shouldn't have gone top, but then IG was actually unwilling to take that 5v5 as TL moved into the river.
27 minutes in, 1,500 gold separates these two teams. Both have 2 dragons, 1 tower advantage for Team Liquid. More has been completed on Impact. You've got Hexagon Blade and the Leandries and a needlessly large rod for Jensen as well.
And really, Medic, games at the World's group stage so far have been this intense.
Yeah.
We saw SKT RNG at the start of the day. TL versus Damwon was incredibly close for so much of it. This is what kind of seems to be deciding who the best team is, which is a little bit different than the skills that were being tested through most of the summer split. The meta, or just the way the team's playing, feels like it's changing a little bit, because usually if you're thinking, okay, 28-minute, fairly slow-paced game, you're thinking that favors TL. So getting to this point, I think TL should be reaching closer to their comfort zone. The fear, though, is Vladimir, level 16, Orianna, and Kai'Sa.
And this is the thing. When it comes to the LPL, I think that they are the best team fighting region in the world. They have so many top-tier teams when it comes to just the 5v5 and the raw talent that exists in those rosters. And you can never count out Invictus Gaming when it comes to the 5v5. And that's what makes this so exciting. We know they're going to happen. Level 16s are almost coming out for Double Lift and Jensen as well. And now the Baron is being set up. The Predator boots just got popped from McSmith.
Invictus Gaming grouping up as 5 in mid. The Shy does have his teleport. Could be in a side lane, but instead they say we want to be 5 men strong in case Team Liquid look for that instantaneous Rakan engage.
And the side laning has basically just stopped, because that winner of the next fight probably wins the game if they're able to either just push straight down mid or get enough of an advantage to take Baron and then build a large gold lead. So either team is trying to get just the right setup, and it's actually TL who's pulling back and getting the side lanes pushing.
Yeah. The ARAM right now is being broken by Team Liquid. Jensen heading up towards topside. He doesn't have his teleport. Invictus Gaming going to use this time to move towards the bot side of the map, get a bit more control, and neither team really has strong control over the Baron. That's likely going to change now, given that Invictus Gaming do have priority over mid. Jensen just sitting in fog of war, trying to scout out what Invictus Gaming is up to. But no wards are actually thrown down.
They only have 1 control ward in their inventory.
So Invictus Gaming not really going to get much off the back of that, but TL, they don't really have many wards either. I think both teams kind of need a reset right now.
Yeah, IG's going for a reset. The question is, does TL match, or do they actually try and rush something with the Baron? Because this feels like the moment where they'd want to recall in. I guess it does seem like teams handshake a little bit, but I felt maybe a 5-second delay from TL, and we'll see if IG can get an advantage off of that.
Because this is where Invictus Gaming will be able to get back out onto the map faster. They'll be able to move into the Baron and start putting that vision down. And we can already see it coming out from Leanne. Impact doing what he can to try and zone them away, but this will give Invictus Gaming priority over the river.
And it's the part of the game where one wrong step or one great play can decide absolutely everything. So dodging in and out of those corridors with the shockwave primed from Rookie, the Spellbinder, 100 stacks, the biggest shockwave possible. They get mid-prio. We saw TL was a little bit slow on that reset. Now they've just started it. TL has to find a way in.
Invictus Gaming inviting Team Liquid into the fight.
They're bursting it.
Left on the Baron, it's almost fallen. IG look to steal it away under Team Liquid's noses, and they'll take it. Jensen's jumping into the back of the pit as they look to the fight. The Shy on the front line, forcing double lift away, and IG are able to survive. Shy, shockwave! Oh! But the shockwave finds 3. Invictus Gaming find their fight. They find the Baron. They almost find the ace. Impact tries to flash away, but he is chased down with a killer instinct, and only Jensen survives.
And IG can push bot lane and probably end this game. They don't have minions mid, but if they make their way down there, they're going with the TP.
Invictus Gaming obliterate Team Liquid. You cannot underestimate this team. We've been building up towards this point. The Vladimir-Orianna combo came to fruition. Invictus Gaming walk away with the Baron. They walk away with the kills, and they're looking to walk away with this game.
because of the way they split after that, I don't think they're going to be able to end the game. They are going to be able to break multiple inhibitor turrets open as respawns are actually getting a little bit closer for TL, kind of maximizing this Baron power play. Rookie misses Shockwave, but Jensen can't follow.
Inhibits tower down in the mid alongside the inhib. The Shy trying to push in here, but it's actually only going to be 2 inhibitors that fall. All the turrets are down, but Invictus Gaming perhaps not able to get as much as they would have liked out of that.
They didn't get the Nexus, but they already have a 6,000 gold power play. So watching this, they burst down the Baron as TL was a little bit late to it, but then the fight happens anyway, and the Shy zones out basically all of TL, and then the Shockwave hits with the Fiddle ultimate. That timing, TL funneled right into it and get destroyed.
We talked so much about this team fighting ability, and getting to see the combo come together for Invictus Gaming was so fun to watch. But also remember, all of this snowballs from the fact that Invictus Gaming reset first. They got to come back to the map first. They were the ones that got control over River and set up for the Baron, allowing them to start it off. And it's fascinating how this whole game was decided simply by deciding to reset first.
It's a surprising thing, but here they go on to Olaf.
Corja J going in looking for the damage, but look at how chunked he is. Just Baolan and Leyan able to push him back. 5 members strong. Invictus Gaming down in this bottom lane. The Baron has a minute left before that buff expires, but Invictus are trying to make the most of it while they can.
Yeah, and with the double Banshee's Veil, it's hard for TL to engage, but the Shy so forward.
So much damage onto Xmithy already. The Shy going low, ticking down. The Redemption coming out. Rookie's already taken down 1. The dive in from Jackie Love. Xmithy next on the menu. It's all on Jensen, but he's fallen as well. And Team Liquid have been wiped in their base. Invictus Gaming put their sights on the Nexus, and they will find vengeance for MSI. IG take the win over Team Liquid.
And that has gotta feel good for Rookie and the rest of IG. 6-1-7 on that Orianna. A very close game throughout the first 30 minutes, but then it is the mid lane priority, the ebb and flow back and forth. They get the jump on TL, they get the Baron, and then they crush back-to-back team fights for a fast victory.
It ultimately all came down to one big team fight where IG had the better setup, they had the better execution, and they ended up coming out on top. But this game was very close. We knew it was going to be about scaling. I loved what we saw from Xmithy in the early game. He was matching and controlling Leyan incredibly well, and I feel like what could have been a terrible early game for Team Liquid was actually controlled in a very reasonable way. So I think TL can still feel pretty confident. At the end of the day, it all came down to one team fight.
Team Liquid should definitely still hold their heads high after that, especially after beating down 1 Gaming yesterday. We asked what form IG would be in coming into Worlds. They looked weaker. The reigning world champions perhaps going to be knocked off their perch early on. If IG keep playing like this, they're definitely going far in this tournament.
And they're still the world champions.
Yep.
Right? That hasn't changed yet. They didn't win MSI after going 9-1 in the group stage, but this team has been lethal, especially in group stages of international competition. So IG definitely wanted to show up, and to me, Rookie looked very good, and that could be a message to the rest of the World Championship to watch out.
And I think many fans look at Invictus Gaming and see that they've had a difficult split, but it's been difficult for many of the players. There have been a lot of issues, and players have been subbed down. They haven't been able to build synergy. They have a new jungler in Leyan, and I think that this ramp-up time that they've had to just focus on the gameplay, get back to the level that they were at, just focus on improving their teamwork and ability to play at the highest level. We're now getting to see the culmination of that hard work and preparation.
We definitely are, and I think we'll continue to see it as the tournament progresses. From a Team Liquid side, you don't take too much hurt from this. It was one mistake you could win, but evaluate that moment. The rest of the game is pretty good.
Yeah, until you have 2 losses in the group stage, you're still in full control of finishing first. So I think that's how Donwan looks at it from day one. I think that's how TL should look at this loss as well.
I totally agree. That's it from us for now. We're going to hand it over to the State Farm analysts.
Thank you so much, Medic. Entertaining game to watch, nerve-wracking one if you're a Team Liquid fan or an IG fan for that matter. Frosker, and I saw you making a grimace and at that last note from Verius. Can you explain what was up?
I'm gonna pump the brakes on the casters a little bit right there. This is Invictus Gaming looked real rough there. That to me was like 3 members played well. The Shy, Jackie Love, and Rookie, and there still seems to be really massive holes in Baolan and Leyan in terms of their consistency in performance. performance.
I think Leon in particularly post 15 minutes looked good for me. I think pre-15, specifically the dive in the bot side tower, definitely was botched.
Yeah.
That one was unfortunate.
He throws axe at Krugs and he's like, I don't need that one anyway. Let's go for the dive.
It was unfortunate. I think tower aggro was a big call for that one, but then when it came down to supporting the solo laners, absolutely great. I mean, they made it easy for him to be fair.
And being a devil's advocate here, I respect the fact that you're being very critical towards IG. They are the world champions, and they've had a very rocky summer split in the LPL, and they still made it here. So should we cut them just a little more slack in these first two games that they did win, knowing that hopefully they should ramp up or not?
I think it speaks to the strength of the performing members that Invictus Gaming are here and are picking up these victories. So we heard them talk about Rookie. I definitely think his name's going to come out, as well as the Shy. When you look at that draft, you're also then looking at their signature picks. Rookie is known especially for two champions, Syndra and Orianna. The Shy is definitely known for his Riven and his Vladimir. So it feels like Invictus Gaming are kind of going back to their bread and butter, these comfort picks. But otherwise, that was a composition that had so much magic damage on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for what I didn't expect out of all of it, because like Team Liquid were competitive, they were strong, and it was all off the back of Xmithy. 2 games in a row already where Xmithy's coming strong. His J4 team fight in the last one, his Gragas team fights in this one, or at least his ganks. Incredible play from him.
And here's the thing, it felt like the strategy from Invictus Gaming was actually to try to deny Xmithy. They banned away his Jarvan, the other pick that he was quite successful with. They made sure that they got the Gragas versus Olaf matchup. So coming into this, I have no doubt that Invictus Gaming were like, if we can shut this guy down, we can shut out TL. But Xmithy was still able to find these plays.
This, to me, was the most important part of this. He kept the Vladimir down and out for a good while. He actually gave a lot of resources and time to being able to get the GP ahead. So once again, great stuff coming out of Xmithy, and it makes Team Liquid's chances in this group really high to be able to get out.
To get out, I think that's what we're looking at as well. But when we look at this game specifically, after the early game, they put IG behind. IG is a team, however, who is very comfortable playing from behind. More often than not, in the LPL, they find themselves in a deficit. And why do they pull out the important wins? It is because they have those 2 players who can do a lot and much more than other players with little resources. I'm of course talking about Rookie and the Shy.
Yeah, so you say 2 members, I agree, because at the end of the day, they have 2 insane players in them. Like, coming into the tournament, the reason why I made my hot take on Invictus Gaming coming out first and ultimately believed in them being able to shake off that summer split jitters was because at the end of the tournament, they should have the top 5 players, in the, like 3 of the top 5 players in the tournament in the Shy, Rookie, and JackieLove. Like, these guys, when they are set up properly, when Baolan and specifically Leon's able to gel with the team, they will be able to come in.
Raz, you said yesterday at the opening of the group stage, my hot take is that IG will be a convincing first seed.
Yeah.
How far are they now off from you from being convincing in the group so far?
The definition of convincing is always going to be a debate.
Wishy-washy.
But we're close to the 6 wins, and that's all I want to make it happen.
Man, Raz, it is not.
To me, that's convincing.
Is it convincing in game score or in how these games
There
are
we
won?
go. This is what I like. This is the conversation.
I'm still willing to cut them some slack because they always also close out the game as we take a look at the final fight, which gives IG the Baron trust. You know this team very, very well, even though it doesn't look exactly the same as last year, but they played this out perfectly.
Yeah, and if you take a peek at the levels, the fact is that Vladimir just has a massive experience lead basically on everyone. So they're going to feel very confident to look for this forced 5v5, and then, that Rookie Shockwave, that one felt good in your soul. That was like the 2014 Champions Winter Rookie Shockwave coming through that just ended things. But you can see, you know, why we keep saying their names and why we'll still have confidence in IG. You said it, it's the Shy and Rookie, but I need more from them. I need to be talking about Leon. I need to be talking about Balan. I need to be talking about JackieLove's consistency if Invictus Gaming are going to be a convincing first seed.
I agree. I think JackieLove has already done it. It will only get better for me.
That is not convincing. That is TL the entire way and then a right turn.
But I think this is more of a story because I know for Group C, we talked about that being the group of death, where now I look at Group D and say, yeah, Team Liquid is starting to come in big. You always have to give Damwon that respect. And Invictus Gaming, where people called them out and said that they, you know, a lot of people didn't believe they would be making it out of the groups based off their current performance in summer. No, I they're still the world champions. At the end of the day, you give them that respect, and so I think Group D and Group C are incredibly hard. So good luck.
The ceilings are insane in that group, is what I would say for most of the teams. We'll be much more informed because I think for Damwon, we're kind of in the middle of things right now. We don't really know. We'll be more informed after next game.
But this is what kills me. We're in the middle of things for Damwon, but I actually think Invictus Gaming and Damwon are kind of in the same bucket. Like they have teams where you have 2 members that everyone is focusing on,
Yes.
and it's about who else shows up with them, and that's buying you the win.
But what's the difference? IG has 2 wins. Okay, so we'll see if Damwon get their first win, because on the other side of the break, we've got AHQ and Damwon searching for their first win of groups. See who pulls it off after this.
To double it, but the knockup's gonna land. Double it, heals up underneath the tower, still alive, and Leon is tanking. Got him first. Blood to Team Liquid. Smithly has the cast, foul and to jump away. Jackie Love
특별하게 못한 판 없이 그냥 기복 없이 잘해주는 선수 아니면 그냥 항상 자신감 있게 하고 항상 뭐 라인전 단계에서 밀리지 않는 그런 선수로 기억되면 좋을 것 같아요.
팀이 만약에 되게 높은 곳에 올라갔어도 제 개인적으로 약간 좀 아쉽거나 좀 내가 좀 못했다 약간 이런 생각이 들면 좀 실패라고 생각할 것 같거든요. 저는 근데 또 반대로 제가 또 엄청 잘했는데 팀이 만약에 또 많이 못 올라가면 그것도 실패를 할 것 같아요. 저도 폼이 오면서 좋은 모습 보여드리면서 우리 팀도 같이 이제 랭크 위로 올라가는 그런 상황이 돼야 좀 성공을 할 수 있지 않나 싶어요.
Hello and welcome back to Worlds 2019. I have been joined by Azael and Papa Smithy. Welcome to the desk, guys. Damwon Gaming up against AHQ. What a game we have to kick us off.
And it's definitely going to be a really interesting one, given the fact that we now have a 2-0 team and we have two teams without a win in this particular game. A lot of people surprised by Damwon Gaming not picking up the win yesterday, and maybe even more surprised by the fact that Impact had the measure of Nogari and Lane.
Yeah, exactly. And I think now for Damwon coming into here, it's about keeping pace with the top of the pack, right? This is a very competitive group. We have seen that people are expecting these top three teams to really be going back and forth. But there's also an opportunity to make this that four-horse race to really upset the group.
And there's usually a strategy. There's usually someone back at three teams in the competition. A four-way race is super hype. Some tiebreakers perhaps in the future. Who knows?
And I think before yesterday, I would have said AHQ is likely to be the straggler in the group. Damwon Gaming looked relatively good in the play-ins, especially when they got their comfort picks. But yesterday, Nogari was playing Vladimir and Beryl was playing Alistair, and they still really struggled in that game.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing comfort, right? They got everything that they wanted, and they still weren't able to actually close it out against TL. And on the other side, you have to say that, HQ was able to actually turn in quite a competitive game against IG, especially the early game, I think going quite well for them. So it does upset the expectations a little bit.
But I will say that I feel like the adjustments for both teams that lost yesterday aren't that big. Because if you think back to it, HQ, a very strong early game, and then some small mistakes snowballed and Victor's game down. Damwon Gaming weren't all over the shop. There was actually again an early to mid game where it could have favored them pretty heavily. But then the moment that Nogari got solo killed, a lot of things fell apart. The Baron came down and the game ended. So given that adjustments aren't throw it out and try it all again, it literally is make some small adjustments, ride that mid game a little bit more effortlessly, and suddenly get on the board.
Yeah, it's certainly the case. And honestly, for Damwon, they turned it into a pretty solid game. And I think so much of the reason that they couldn't actually close that out against TL was Team Liquid had a really good hold on vision, especially around the Baron, setting up kind of that penultimate fight in the game yesterday. And, I'm not sure if AHQ will be able to kind of control the vision and control the map to the same Liquid level that we saw yesterday. And if you're not able to do that, we know how quickly a player like Nuggery can destroy your team with different plays, can destroy your team if he is given a lead.
And I think a question comes for HQ about the reintroduction of Rainbow into the mid lane for them. Of course, during the regular season, they played a lot with Apex in the mid lane. And now having Rainbow in, he didn't actually have the best of performances yesterday, so you wonder why they continue with him.
It definitely catches us off guard, because when you watch AHQ, again, you almost always remember the previous Charlie at one point was famously West Door, and the fact that they had very small effective champion pools, and also up and down the performance levels. Apex brought a consistency to the mid lane that allowed their whole system to fit into place, and now suddenly Rainbow, who was on Team Afro last year, who hadn't played before World started, for the AHQ lineup is preferred. Because we are the layman here, we need to understand more about what they're seeing, and maybe a second round draft here can give us some insight.
Yeah, it's certainly the case. And I mean, to be fair to Rainbow, he did have a fairly strong early game, and it was a beneficiary of some of their early game plays. He did get a couple of kills, but he wasn't really able to make much of that lead on the volley that he did play yesterday. So certainly, I think the challenge against a lot of these top teams is going to be the next move, right? We know everyone at this tournament is capable of having the 1v1 advantages, capable of making ganks happen. But getting to that next step and snowballing the game is so difficult.
But on the side of Dumb, what I want to see from them is they went for the Veigar carry bot lane. I actually think that Nuclear finds it hard to play some of these new picks. You understand it. It's like, okay, if I want to negate carry versus AD carry, I want to negate the lane with a non-traditional marksman going for a mage. I feel like he struggles in execution there. Zyrakan probably not going to be available for him, unfortunately. And then in the mid lane, Showmaker was on a mid laner. They didn't take the side lane. We didn't see Yasuo attempt to side lane in that game. Man, it was just Nuggery. He got shut down and the game ended from there. So more of a 3-lane game here from Damwon Gaming, I think would suit them because it's back to that ultra comfort.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it'll be interesting to see where they do take us, as far as that bottom lane, because Nuclear Barrel, they certainly have been criticized for their laning phase. They have been kind of that weak link, I think, on this squad. Certainly, the solo laner is getting a lot of praise and the ultimate MVP for summer. And this is where they need to really figure out what they're going to do on the international level if they're going to try to make it to that next step.
And these are not the bot lanes that usually would roll them. This should be a more comfortable bot lane scenario against AHQ than some of the more respected top bot lanes in the world. Therefore, this should be one where you can paper over the cracks a little bit more.
Well, we'll see if they're able to do that as we get on into picks and bans. AHQ on the red have removed Renekton, Gragas, and the LeBlanc. Damwon Gaming on the blue side removed Pantheon and Syndra. I expect to see that all the time on blue this Worlds. And the Kale is their final ban.
That actually means that Qiyana's available and snapped up, so frequently banned. Champion that can cause a lot of headaches, especially around neutral objectives, and Damwon are not always the smartest about choosing when to fight and when to relent.
Yeah, I mean, it's so incredibly powerful in those jungle corridors, can be played as a jungler, can be put in that mid lane, and anytime you have Qiyana, I do think you want to be playing heavily around that mid jungle 2v2, trying to take control of the priority there, get vision in the opposing jungle, and look to scrap where you are at that big advantage.
Well, we're battling through picks and bans already. Kai'Sa locked in, Lee Sin for Canyon, Leona as well for Beryl in the bottom lane. Zyrakan was picked for AHQ.
Canyon on ultra comfort, very much a career Lee Sin player, and then Lee Sin one counter pick you can consider into the Rakan once you have some vision around the lane. You can go in aggressively, feel good about following Battlelands and the other general mobility of the Rakan, but it doesn't mean that AHQ don't have a very on paper reliable blue side drop. Damwon red side with potentially last pick counter pick for Nuggery is still something that many people consider unbannable, even with 5 bans.
Yeah, I mean, he just has such a deep champion pool, and it is interesting that, Damwon is not actually electing to target some of the safer blind picks up in the top lane. They may not be worried about things that could come through, such as the Gnar, which a lot of people consider to be fairly safe because of that flexible champion pool that Nuggery has. If you're not worried about it, you can bring out things like the Aurelia, you can bring out some of these specific counter picks, perhaps even this Akali being flexed through that top lane.
I think the expectation for AHQ is they pick the Gnar because of how comfortable Ziv is on it. It's one of his most played across the course of his career. But Damwon, even flexing with the Akali picking, could still be mid or top.
You almost lose sight when you have these big 3 Korean top laners of the Shy, we saw Impact in the last game, and then of course Nuggery here, of the fact that Ziv has been considered this real top lane carry from the LMS for many, many years. This guy is one of the OGs of the top lane coming from the LMS region. Looks like he's probably jumping on the Rumble here, which is a champion with a finite timer. Does suggest that AHQ are looking to fight in the mid game and not necessarily drag this one out.
Yeah, and I do actually quite like their mid-game team fight right here. When you're looking at this with Qiyana, Xayah, the Jarvan, as well as the Rumble, all of these champions spike pretty well on 1 items. Essence Reaper coming across, of course, for Wacko there, and it is going to be the Camille coming through. This can be a tough early matchup. You are going to get pushed in, but especially if you want to go for those laning routes, things like Grass, they can really go pretty heavily in your favor, and once you pick up a little bit of MR, that can go very heavily in Camille's favor, but we know this is the guy that loves Klepto, so I'm not sure we're going to see the Grass.
Yeah, you said Grass, and I was like, no. It's a possibility, but what we can say is an inevitability is Camille taking over this lane. You see your Ravenous Hydra and Trinity Force done, and Rumble says, guys, TP's up and coming in hot, because that's all you can really expect there. Like you were saying, Azael, there really is a first 25 minutes where a lot of different 3v3s and 4v4s should be very heavily favored to the side of AHQ.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Ziv has fairly easy early game build difficult path when you're going up against physical damage in the top lane as well as the jungle with the Lee Sin. You know, building towards things like the early Seekers or even that whole Zonius can be very powerful for those 2v2s that you're talking about, the 3v3s as well. I'm really going to be interested in how Barrel can perform on this stage.
Onto Summoner's Rift we step once more. AHQ and Damwon Gaming yet to find a win in this group. Seen Invictus Gaming at the top at 2-0. Team Liquid already with a win under their belts as well. Both these teams will once again on the board in the World's group stage.
We can all agree that the deep side, there's no grasps here. No. That demand seat is locked in. Where's the call? The thing I'll say about the Klepto choice is people look at it as kind of a flexing thing or a Nuggery preference thing. Nuggery is a player who knows how to play the mind games. The thing about the cull start is when your enemy top laner sees the cull, instantly tilted because you're like, excuse me, you don't think you need any combat skill to deal with me? And the moment that you see that and the Klepto, you call on your jungle. You're feeling pressured because you know if we're just farming it out, other guys getting more gold, and you're getting very frustrated. So just that mind game, just the fact that the enemy jungler might make a suboptimal extra trip and then not get anything out of it is another reason to go for these runes that really make it all about Nuggery, which can be a good thing and a great thing, depending on how you play.
And certainly it does put some pressure on the other opponents essentially to feel like they have to get something done, right? And as you're saying, it's not always optimal to go up there. You also have to consider that I think people underestimate Klepto as a laning rune. People think it's purely about the gold, but the potions that you can grab can sometimes be pretty game-changing in the lane. And if you pick up a health potion or two, that can change around a lane absolutely against someone like that Rumble. You're also into inspiration. You can grab biscuits if it's a poke-heavy lane and you're really worried about that. So there is actually a lot of laning power that can come from this.
It's actually a great interview with Nuggery where he was asked to rate the 3 most troll picks you can take topside. And he said Klepto, Teemo, obviously the Teemo probably know about, but the Klepto, and make sure not to actually pop any of the sacks of gold or use any of the items just so the enemy can see up close what they're not getting.
Did he just get those?
Extra man.
Exactly. It's super tilting. Anytime I start a lane phase and I see the cloud, well, he popped the sack.
I know, he went against his own interview.
Yeah, not a good sign.
Let's have a talk about some of the other lanes and perhaps the jungles. We see Alex going for a red buff into Krugs into blue start here. Sometimes Jarvans will look for a level 2 gank, decided against the Canyon. Going to do a full clear of his blue side jungle down the top.
Yeah, I think just really looking to expect any Jarvan gank early on, right? You know, especially when we're seeing Nuggery trading so aggressively, you know, he has to try to be there in case of any sort of early potential ganks. He wants to be able to cover something.
Everyone knows that Rumble around level 3, level 4 is going to be overextended. That's a period to gank or cover which side you're on. So Canyon very much looking at timers 315, the other timer, and topside Scuttle would be the one to spot potentially jungle attention.
You can see Brawler's trying to do the same on the bottom side, just walked into the AHQ jungle and put a ward down around the red buff of Alex. So they're trying to keep as many eyes on this Jarvan as they can.
They are taking over topside Scuttle, again, as we were mentioning, to provide coverage topside for Nuggery. Another thing to consider is actually from the AHQ side is that to pull off this Rumble draft, that, speaking of Rumble,